Now
on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 8:06. It's O'Connor and Company. It's our fourth hour of 4 hours. So tune in. If you missed it, starting at 5 a.m., you can download our podcast. But you got to subscribe first. So do that and check it out. You missed quite a bit. That said, we're charging ahead here on this busy news cycle with Larry O'Connor alongside Julie Gunlock. Morning, Julie.
Morning. Morning.
Joining us right now is Rick Maese, sports reporter for the Washington Post, covering the Olympics. And there's plenty to cover here, as it appears the U.S. team is in the medal lead in terms of total medals. 12 medals total. Breaks down 3 gold, 6 silver, 3 bronze. All right. So, Rick, that sounds pretty good. How are we doing?
Yeah, not a bad start to the games for Team USA. Obviously, there's a lot of competition left to go, but I think they're pretty pleased with the results. A lot of those medals have come from the swimming pool, and a lot of the big dogs have showed up and reached the medal podium. And especially last night, we saw 4 U.S. medals, 2-in-1 race. The Americans went gold and silver in the women's 100-meter butterfly. So we're getting more and more accustomed to hearing the national anthem being played here in Paris.
And here, of course, in the greater Washington area, we love our Maryland swimmers. So give us the Katie Ledecky update, which is probably, I should have led with that. But how's Katie doing?
Katie, she's only had 1 race so far. She swam in the 400, and she picked up the first bronze medal of her Olympic career. But certainly no shame in that. She was up against, just two total studs in the pool. Ariarne Titmus, the Australian who defended her Olympic title in that race. And Katie's got still a busy week to go. She's got the 800 meter, the 1500, and we could see her in a relay as well. But last night we also had a Virginia swimmer, Tori Husk. She took the gold in a kind of a surprising win in the 100 meter fly. She was going against a world record holder, Gretchen Walsh. She was a 21-year-old University of Virginia student. And Tori Husk caught her at the very end, won by the race by 400ths of a second. It was very exciting. And even Tori looked surprised in the pool when she looked up the scoreboard and saw her name was on top.
Also, really exciting to see Simone Biles back in gymnastics. She had a slight injury. Is she okay?
Yeah, it seems like she's going to be okay. It definitely caused a lot of concern for anyone watching it. I don't know if you called it a limp or what exactly you'd say was wrong with her gait there, but it looked like she had kind of wrapped it and was being extra cautious. So you're hoping, and all of USA is probably hoping that everything's going to be fine there, and they're probably going to be just extra careful with her. But the women's competition is looking great. No, it's just preliminary, so we still got a lot of medals to be handed off there, and hopefully Biles is still in okay by the time that competition resumes.
Yeah.
So can I ask you, this is a silly question, but we were talking about it over the weekend in my family, so I said, you know what, we've got a sports reporter. Why does the U.S. do so well in swimming? Why? Because, swimming is sort of, you would think, indigenous to everywhere on the planet, except maybe a desert nation, right? But water's kind of a thing. What is it about America and American athletes that makes them so dominant? Other than Australia, I guess, is the other country.
Part of it is just sheer numbers. There's so many pools and so many swim clubs that people can compete in, and they start at a young age. We put kids in swim meets, at 6, 7 years old, and a lot of them keep with it and grow through the sport. And then a lot of it gets attributed to the collegiate system too. So, sometimes we have these teenage phenoms, but a lot of times, they have scholarship opportunities to continue swimming in college, whereas other countries, they might peak at 18, 19, not have the same opportunities to grow and blossom and reach their full potential. But you're certainly right. That's always been a place that the U.S. dominates, and much of the world's caught up, and that's kind of what makes this one intriguing. This could be the first Olympics where Australia is actually, nudging the U.S. off the top of that medal table at the swimming pool.
Well, and we've also grown accustomed to the rest of the world catching up in basketball. That's kind of why we put together these dominant dream teams. And this one, so far, it's just not fair. And Prince George's County's own Kevin Durant had a hell of a game, didn't he? Finally coming off in India. We haven't seen KD in a while.
Yeah, I think a lot of intrigue was like, how's he feeling? What's his contribution going to be like? So it was good to see him actually able to get in there and contribute to the team there. I think he's one of those players that loves the Olympics, loves the stage, and really steps up. You can kind of just see it on his face. He's excited to be there and wants to contribute to a U.S. gold medal. So they got off to a good start, but as you point out, the rest of the world is caught up, and it's such a global game now. We have so many NBA stars from all these countries. So no matter what game you're tuning into, you could be seeing an NBA All-Star there. The U.S. just still has more than their other countries.
Tell us a little bit about Tori Husk. It was a surprise, sort of shocking gold medal in the 100-meter butterfly. Tell us a little bit about her story and why was it shocking? Was she not expected to win gold?
Yeah, what makes her story especially compelling is if we go back 3 years ago to the Tokyo Olympics, in this very same race, it was just a mad dash to the wall. There were 4 racers within, I think it was 400ths or 700ths of a second of the gold medal. And Tori Husk ended up finishing in 4th place. She missed the medal podium there by 100th of a second. Think about that. That is just such a minuscule number. If her fingernails was a tad longer, maybe she would have touched that ball a little bit. So she left Tokyo and really had that on her mind. The frustration, the disappointment, whatever kind of regrets and what ifs that she kind of carried. And she realized how close she actually was to a medal. And so she's worked on filling out her game. She wanted to really make the back half of her race better. She wanted to close better. She wanted to actually beat someone to the wall. And she had a great World Championships a year out of Tokyo. And she took a year off. She's a Stanford student now. She took a year off from school last year just to focus on the Paris Games. And so it was really special to kind of see the growth and for her to come back. And it was a very redemptive moment for her to actually be the first to the wall. So not only did she make the medal podium, but she was at the top of it last night.
Nice.
Really quickly here, if you don't mind, because Rick, one of the fun things about the Olympics is, yes, swimming and track and field and cycling and basketball and stuff. So we've even if we don't watch cycling and swimming, we're familiar with it. Are you honing in on any sports that are so completely off, like archery? Like today, it's like who watches archery? But it's a huge deal in certain countries. What sports are you sort of focusing on? Is sort of like, okay, let's give this a try.
One thing I love about the Olympics is getting to go out and see some of these sports that you really don't see except every 4 years. So I'm doing swimming every night, and during the day I try to go find some new event to check out, whether it's the venue or the athletes. And so far I saw rugby sevens, which was so special because rugby is a much bigger sport here in France, and sold out
awesome.
65,000-seat arena. And so that was really cool to see. I've seen beach volleyball, which is just such a beautiful venue with the Eiffel Tower in the background. You've seen the pictures. They should be on postcards. I was there this morning. But like I said, the archery was so great. We have a dynasty in South Korea that almost lost for the first time yesterday, and it came down to a shoot-off. And, these are rules I always have to read and understand how they're going. But it's fun because all these sports, they're huge in other parts of the world. Maybe not as big in the U.S., table tennis, badminton, things like that. But here, everyone, it's the most important thing to them, and it's so cool to kind of see them practice their craft and, kind of use the Olympics as a stage to show off to the world.
Well, very cool. Well, enjoy yourself there. By the way, I want to give you the address here, 140 Avenue des Champs-Élysées. Apparently, that's a famous street.
Look
what is
at
it called, Julie? How
Fancy.
do you say it?
Champs-Élysées.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Apparently, at the 140 address there, it's just like 2 blocks away from the Eiffel Tower. There's a McDonald's. So
we're worried about you.
Perfect, because I've had a hard time finding good food here.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
These little croissant pastries and wine, so I'm looking forward to
get yourself some McNuggets, for God's sake, man, and come back to us, a whole human being.
Rick, you're fitting in real well here. My goodness.
Thank you, Rick. Enjoy Paris.
No problem.
Yeah. That is Rick Maese.
We're not jealous, Larry. We're not jealous.
He's just here to talk about the sports. We've got plenty of time to talk about the blasphemous Last Supper presentation with LGBTQ people. And like, hey, we're France. Think of another reason to hate us. Great opening ceremony, guys. Really well thought out. It's 8:15, WMAL traffic and weather every 10 minutes. First on the 5s, here's Jamie Whitten in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different.
Yeah, it's Kamala Harris's first official ad here, and immediately dividing. Do you notice that? Listen to that. What kind of country do you want? Some people, those people over there, they want chaos and division, but we want unity. It's amazing how they preach unity while immediately dividing us.
That's right.
That's what they get away with. Is it me also when you listen to Kamala Harris's voice? She sounds like somebody who has just smelled something really funky in the refrigerator. You know, it's like you open up that jar of indescribable something that's been in the refrigerator for months, and you smell it, and then suddenly you got the...
In this election, we each face a question.
Well,
What
that's
kind
why
of country?
Yeah.
that's why I really hope Mayor Pete is her VP choice, because
Between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think the two of them, I think people pick up on this stuff. I think that there will be no mistaking that these two people hate average Americans, think that they're stupid, and talk down to them.
Oh, but I talk down to you like I'm Kermit the Frog because I'm in charge of the Secretary of Transportation, don't you know? And it's really exciting that I'm going to take care of racist bridges. I hope that
Yes.
she's not going to, though. The latest, well, she might, I suppose. But the latest is that she's going to make a very cold and calculating decision for her vice presidential running mate to secure either a state that they think they can win or a political segment of the electorate, most specifically white married women who will vote for Trump. She's narrowed it down, we're told, to Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, Tim Walz of Minnesota, and Mark Kelly of Arizona. All three of them were told appeal to married white women because they don't seem as radical and they seem like, you know, the kind of guys that you want your husband to either go out to beers with, or perhaps you want to marry them yourself. Mark Kelly is an astronaut, after all, and a doting husband of his wife, of course, the congresswoman who was assaulted in Tucson years ago. But one thing about Senator Kelly that we're learning, that I don't know why we didn't learn this before he was on the short list for vice president, he owns a Chinese balloon spy satellite company.
God.
Are you kidding me? How does a sitting U.S. senator own a Chinese spy craft company? How is that even allowed? But that's Mark Kelly for you. One other thing, this announcement that Kamala Harris, she put out a photograph, Julie Gunlock, of her signing her registration form to officially become a candidate for president, which, again, didn't we have deadlines here? I mean, does anyone care about rules or laws?
Does anything matter anymore?
No, probably not. And she said, today I signed the... I can't do her voice.
I love it. You can't even talk
I
without
can't
making
do
the
it.
voice. Yeah.
I will work hard to earn every vote. She said, in November, our people-powered campaign will win. Again, their ease
Well, I
and
think it's
ability
really
to lie.
nice. I also think it's really nice that she's been able to rest up. She hasn't had to work hard for any vote so far, so she can just, save up her reserve. She's ready to go. For the first time, she's going to have to earn a vote.
No. It's already a people-powered campaign.
You're right. What am I thinking?
She's been put there by people. I mean, very rich, powerful people. You know, a handful of giant donors to the Democratic Party, and then Barack Obama, who, along with, according to Seymour Hersh's reporting, threatened Joe Biden with the 25th Amendment and strong-armed him off the ticket. It's people-powered. It's just a very small number of people.
Couple billionaires.
A very, very elite few. She is literally the choice of the rich and powerful. She would not be the nominee if she did not accommodate the desires of the rich and powerful. She is beholden to a small number of rich, powerful people, not to voters. She is the first time she will face the voters is on Election Day.
And honestly,
amazing.
She will be a happy puppet. She will do as she's told. Obama and Obama's people can continue. I mean, they are going to fill that White House with Obama. If she wins, they will fill it with Obama's former advisors and staff, and it will continue just like the Biden administration.
I'm sure that was part of the arrangement. Also, it needs to be noted that just like the attempted assassination of Donald Trump that has now been memory hold and disappeared, no one seems to want to talk about it. And we've told you earlier in the day that Google is actually suppressing search requests for the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. People are, again, when I say people, I mean professional reporters and journalists whose job it is to get to stories about national politics. They are ignoring the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, and they're ignoring what happened behind the scenes covering up the debilitating health of the President of the United States. 94% of Americans polled think Kamala Harris was part of that cover-up. They think that because it's obviously true that she was part of that cover-up. And Maryland Governor Wes Moore, who was doing television appearances saying that Joe Biden is in it to win it right up until the moment he stepped off the ticket.
You say the game is up, enough's enough.
No, I would say this. In November, we've got a clear choice. The president was very clear that he is in this to win this.
There you go. That was right before he stepped off the ticket. So did Wes Moore never even see or talk to Joe Biden? Well, he revealed this to Martha Raddatz on yesterday's Sunday show, which used to be a good show.
Well, you know, I had private conversations with the president, and I'm a big believer that when you care about somebody, you tell them the truth. And I had private conversations where I was telling the president the truth.
So privately, he acknowledged Joe Biden couldn't be on the ticket, but publicly he lied to the media, lied to the American states. And Martha Raddatz, conducting that interview, one of the people he lied to, was fine with it. Oh, okay. It's all good.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like, talk about bearing the lead. They don't even, it's like Martha Raddatz doesn't even know when she has a headline making statement from a politician.
Right.
Who,
we just made news here. They're not in the business of news. They're propagandists.
It is just unbelievable. I mean, anybody listening to that, and again, listening to the Mayor Pete interview, like, he lies, like you say, just so easily. And then Wes Moore admitting that he knew private conversations. This is major news, and nobody's acting like they've got a scoop here. It's just the absolute state of journalism today.
We love pointing it out, just like our friends at Media Research Center who do such a great job with it, and we will continue to point it out. But we don't want them to change, because as long as they continue down this path of propaganda, that drives you to us, and start your day with us every morning, and we appreciate it.
Now,
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Good morning. It is 8:36. It's O'Connor and Company. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Julie Gunlock alongside Larry O'Connor. And joining us now is Loudon Dad Scott Smith. Scott, thanks so much for chatting with us today.
Hi, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good morning, Scott. Your daughter was tragically attacked by a male student who walked into the girls' school bathroom. He was convicted in 2021. He was a 15-year-old then, and he was released in November of last year as an 18-year-old. And it turns out you weren't notified by anyone in Loudoun County, law enforcement or the courts. How did you find out?
We found out through the other parent. The other parent and my wife as well, they did their due diligence, monthly, and called to find out his status. And we made a call in between, sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they basically couldn't tell us the status any longer. And so we did our own investigation and found out that he was out. Then, we reached out, like what the hell happened? And, basically we were told that they didn't need to let us know. And that was that.
Now, Scott,
so we've known that he was out and running around Loudoun County since, just before Thanksgiving of last year. So, we took, precautions and such, and, we've been living with it, since then. What's ironic, though, is that, this story comes out last Wednesday, and, the community is appalled that he's not on the sexual offenders list.
Oh, wow.
And, I bring us all back to what originally transpired. The previous prosecutor, Buddha Bibarai, and her underling, Barry Schweg, they tried to bury this. They tried to destroy both me and my daughter, by weaponizing their power with their prosecutor's office, and basically protected this rapist. I want to read you something that, the judge said that day. It says, Brooks said she felt compelled to do something after reviewing sexual and physiological evaluations of the boy conducted after he was found guilty of the assaults. Yours scared me, she said of the reports. I don't know how else to put it. They scared me for yourself. They scared me for your family. They scared me for society. Young man, you need a lot of help, the judge said, and put him on the sexual offender list. And then 2 weeks later had to remove him from that because Buddha Bibarai did not fill out the proper paperwork. And that's what we experienced all the way through was they wanted to protect the rapist and destroy my daughter and me. And, you know, they damn near did it. And if it wasn't, God forbid, you know, that he attacked another student and allegedly others, you know, they had us ready to push us off a cliff and never to be heard from again.
Yep.
And
how is your daughter doing with this? I imagine there's some fear, first of all, of just sort of suddenly finding out that he's released and not hearing from the courts, not hearing from the juvenile justice system, not hearing from the prosecutor. How is she doing today, Scott?
She's fearful. It re-traumatized her again. One thing though that, my family and my daughter, that we've realized is there is, no protection right now in Loudoun County, and she saw all the failures all the way through and continued failures. There's plenty of responsibility, to be passed around.
Yeah.
But, and the other thing too is that I want everyone to know is we received the interrogation video done within, I think it was 48 hours of him raping my daughter, where he admits it. He goes through step by step by step how he stalked her, how he manipulated her, how he fed her water because she was so sick, before he attacked her. I mean, it is horrific. And we didn't receive that until a year, later. And basically, that's what Judge Brooks was talking about is, this kid did it more than once. He's a serial predator. And after seeing this interrogation video, I think he could possibly be a psychopath. And that really, really hurt us because we fought so hard to get this boy help.
Of course.
And here we are.
And Buddha Bibarai did not see this person as a potential threat to your daughter or other young women in Loudoun County. She saw this person as a representative of a protected group and class and a representative of a policy that she was in favor of. Now, She lost her election. She is no longer the Commonwealth's attorney, so there's an upside there. But quickly, Scott, and I do mean quickly because we've got less than a minute, do you fear now of some sort of retaliation from this person? And are there state laws to protect you right now from the sexual predator?
We're looking into right now getting a protective order for my daughter. We don't know what to fear. He's 18 now. The gloves are off. I would highly recommend that he stays as far, far away from my family as possible.
Probably
Amen.
Wise words. Scott Smith, always good to hear from you. And I'm sorry that, sadly, you are in a position where you have to publicly proclaim your family's pain and harrowing history here for all of us to hear. But you're doing that as a service to let us know about the lack of responsibility from our elected officials and the institutions that are meant to protect the innocent and to make sure that other parents don't have to go through what you did. So I truly appreciate that. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you. Buddha's gone. The new prosecutor's office is doing much better.
That's good to hear.
Good to hear.
WMAL, making sense of the headlines because common sense isn't so common. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Have we mentioned that it's been 16 days since there was an assassination attempt on the former president and the current Republican nominee for president? That would be Donald Trump. And again, it just doesn't seem to be of interest to most people in the media, but we're still focusing on it a little bit here. It's just
It is so weird.
Just FYI.
Weird.
Also, it's been only a week since Joe Biden was pushed off the Democrats' ticket. The intrigue behind that doesn't seem to interest reporters at Washington Post, New York Times, LA Times, the people who are paid to cover politics. Seymour Hersh, an independent journalist, has an amazing story out about all of the palace intrigue behind that silent coup, it appears, led by Barack Obama, thank you very much, who is an unelected person, by the way,
yes,
in case anyone cares about that.
Currently serving his third term.
That's right, and about to serve his fourth through Kamala Harris. By the way, Kamala Harris now firmly ensconced as the nominee for the Democratic Party. All the money from the Joe Biden campaign will go over to her. No one seems to be interested in asking questions about whether that's legal or appropriate. And she's just going to be pushed down everybody's throat as the nominee as if nothing happened.
And we got a little hint of when all the biographies are written, when Karine Jean-Pierre writes her biography and others people who were in, part of this palace intrigue, we got a little hint of how they're going to react. Martha Raddatz, Governor Westmore was on ABC, Sunday morning program. Martha Raddatz asked him about, were you concerned about the president? He basically admitted, so in private conversations, I was very worried about his health. And she just went on, didn't even take a breath. Right. She didn't care at all. So now we know how they're going to react. She's going to be totally fine. Not a big deal.
Right.
That the American public were lied to.
That's right. And we're all supposed to ignore all of that. By the way, and the cover-up of Joe Biden's health, which 94% of Americans in a poll think Kamala Harris was part and parcel to. Mm-hmm. Nothing about that. All right, and then there's this. She's now campaigning with Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania. And they had a huge rally where Josh Shapiro joined her. And I'm telling you, hundreds of people were there. I mean, hundreds. Not quite as many as we got at the WMAL Free Speech Forum at the Berkshire last month, but hundreds of people. And in Pennsylvania, people might be concerned about Kamala Harris banning fracking because last time she ran for president.
Oh, yeah. I am committed to passing a Green New Deal, creating clean jobs, and finally putting an end to fracking once and for all. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah.
The campaign is now saying, oh, no, she doesn't plan on banning fracking. Even though
didn't mean it.
So think about it. They had to decide what's more politically viable for us, to admit the truth that she's going to ban fracking, or to claim that basically she was full of hooey. Let's say hooey.
Yeah.
And they decided the most politically advantageous thing for them to do is to admit that she was full of hooey. It's 8:53.